episode 23 of Keeping It Local, and I am here with a Kings Park local, formerly of Kings Park, now of South Carolina, head of Barattini Productions, Kevin Barattini. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Jonathan? Man, I really appreciate you having me on here. I always commented on your social media because you do a really good job, and it's
Thanks.
fun for people to see what you're doing now. And we went to school together, and I was just kind of previous before we started this. Just I look back at all the things we did. We were the Rumford Rangers for a
I
long
was
time
gonna
playing
mention the Rumford
hockey.
Rangers.
We were the Rumford Rangers, but Barattini Productions started in 1998, and I was just a little kid in high school, and I started at Superior Ice Rink, and you can see the jerseys behind me. Just fun fact, everybody, I am a New York Ranger fan. I'm not a New York Islander fan. I promise you that.
We'll get to that story later as we
Oh yeah,
progress through your crazy career here. But we were talking a little bit about before it came on, and I
yeah.
mean, so it's funny you brought up the Run for Rangers because I was thinking about this before we jumped on today, and I was like, you always had, I felt like you always did something a step bigger than everybody else our age when something was happening. Like even with the Rumford Rangers, I remember like you got us jerseys with actual names and numbers on them. And that was like not easy to do back then. The access we have to
No.
it now is ridiculous. But back then in 1997, like to have your own jersey with your number, like we used to get, for the other teams I played on, like we'd buy a t-shirt, we'd
Yeah.
tape the number on, there's no way you're taping your name on. That'll
Yeah.
take forever. And that was how we did it. And like, it's like, you want to play on a Run for Rangers? Yeah. And then like all of a sudden we got a real jersey. I'm like, this is really freaking cool. But you always did it like a step up from whatever else was going on. And I feel like that was probably just who you are, but it's kind of launched you into the stratosphere of where you are now.
Yeah, I've always been that type of person. It's go big or go home, and I've always had that motto in life is you've got one life to live. You got to live it to your fullest. Everything that I've always done as a little kid to now, years later and 26 years in the business. But like I said, you got one shot only. You got to do it right. Going back to the years when we were playing hockey, I was a rink guard at Superior Ice Rink in Kings Park on Indian Head Road, and there was one Friday night, and the manager goes, "There's no DJ. The DJ didn't show up. Who wants to do it?" So of course I raised my hand, and I got my book of CDs. This is when we had CDs and
And now you
cassettes.
had never done it before, right? Like there was
No,
never.
no, never done it. But I really enjoyed it, and it was from 8 to 10 p.m. And I was like, wow, all right. They dimmed the lights. They had the lights going on, all the DJ lights going at Superior Ice Rink. So then I became a scorekeeper. Now, men's league games. I mean, these games were packed, capacity crowds of 3 to 5 people of like the men's watching. The girlfriends watching the guys. But I started playing music for those games. I started announcing them. I started announcing the goals. I started announcing everything. And I was like, wow, I got something here.
Yeah.
Then you bring our boy Kevin Hilden into the picture, who I was in school with. He had some DJ equipment, but I had all the music. And together we looked at each other like, yo, you want to start a business? And the Kevin we know is like, yeah, man, I'll do it. Um, but we did. We started doing the school functions, and we did little itty bitty things. We started doing sweet 16s, communions. But fast forward over the years, I'd say 2005 was the avenue where I wanted to take Barattini Productions and just be a wedding company. I didn't
Mm.
want to be the DJ company that did a prom, a sweet 16. It had to be one avenue, and all we do now is weddings, weddings, weddings. And honestly, it's a great career, and you're giving somebody the best day of their life other than bringing children into the world. And this is where you come in and buying a home. Those are the most important things in life. And selling a home to somebody for the first time is like, how awesome is that? When they get to sign all those papers and you get that champagne, it's
Yep.
awesome.
It's so energizing. I was writing an offer for someone today. The folks who live next door to my parents, you could probably put it together.
Yes.
The kids, one of the kids, and I'm just getting excited, like getting the offer in. I'm like,
Man.
yeah, yeah, like here we go. And because yeah, the energy, like I'm probably similar to you, and like I feed off of energy from other
Yes.
people. Like when the energy's good and like you start to get going and you're in a groove together, it's like, all
Yep.
right, let's go. So I get excited when it happens, and then even more excited. And it's almost like it's like a letdown when it goes to contract for me. Like once it's in contract, it's
I
like,
get it.
all right, now, there's always other stuff you have to do and everything, but it's kind of like the ride, the wave has peaked, and now you're just on a different,
Yep.
you're coming into the shore, and it's like, okay, and then the next one comes along. But that first excitement of like showing the houses with people, getting them in, getting an offer accepted, especially on the buy side, it's just like, because right now it's so hard. It's
Yeah.
such an invigorating experience.
And it's good for you because it's that's why I relate to you is again, I before we started recording today, I just kind of touch base on like I have these girls, these brides that when they were 5, 6 years old, they were playing house and they were playing dress up and they were pretending it was their wedding day. And I get that opportunity to deliver the best day of their life and some. And it's all about attention to detail. And my company's quality over quantity. You know, how many clients could you possibly have at a time? It get overwhelming. I
Right.
never want to overextend us. And that's why we do 3 weddings a night. And that is completely it. We could do 4, 5, 6, but I choose not to, which is why we turn a lot of work away. Not that I want to turn it away, but I want to give somebody our very best and some. And it's like you said, you get that excitement. And after 26 years, I did a wedding last night here in Charleston. I still get nervous before every single introduction. If I don't, then I've got to quit because it's something I do and I have a passion for.
Well, because also, like, which I think you take it very seriously, because there's a lot on the line. Like,
Yeah.
it's
This is
one
it.
that is their one moment. Like,
This is
that's it.
it.
It's a monster moment, like announcing them, saying everything right, doing exactly, because it's very similar to real estate, and there's so much emotion built up in that moment,
Yep.
almost to the point of being illogical. And like, if you don't deliver it perfectly up to your standards, number one, it's probably hurting your business, and I'm sure
Yep.
that's not your first priority. You probably feel like you hurt the client, even though in the long run it's like, okay, it wasn't that big of a deal, but in
That's
the
why there
moment
is
for
no
them
room
it's
for
huge.
error. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is no room for error. And we have what's called a lead sheet. So prior to the wedding, 2 to 3 weeks prior, we're getting all those details. And then we're going to meet in person and we're going to spell stuff wrong for pronunciation reasons. We're going to underline, we're going to highlight. These are special moments. Those little details to them are a big deal to us.
Right.
We take it so seriously because again, I can't emphasize enough. You get one shot and one shot only. And if you can't deliver, you shouldn't be in this business.
Yeah. No, and I also, you know what? I'm gonna pause for 1 second. My dog is
Yeah,
chomping at the door, and I just don't want to.
no worries. I got mine behind me chopping
Yeah,
on the phone.
I'm gonna let him come down because he'll be
You're
happy. I'm
good,
just gonna
bro.
pause the
Absolutely.
recording.
The best.
All right, and I did want to touch on. See, I think it's really interesting that you niche down to just weddings. Like,
Yeah,
so
I had
uh,
to.
it was the quality. Is that really the biggest
Yeah,
thing?
you know what it is like, how do I explain this? So when it comes to somebody's biggest day of their life, I wanted to hire a DJ that only knows that brand and standard. If you get a DJ that's used to doing a bar and bar mitzvah, then on Friday night he's doing a sweet 16, Saturday night he's doing a prom, he's not going to know exactly what it is you have to do for a wedding. It's so important and these details matter. Like I can't emphasize that enough is just from the introductions to the first dance to the last dance to the cake cutting to the parent dances, we have a secret sauce that we do, and we have to make sure it is executed to the best of our ability and some. And we work the crowd to the best of our ability off of the client's needs, their wants, and ideas. But if you're not accustomed to doing weddings and you're used to doing other stuff, it can actually tarnish the quality.
Mm,
So yeah, it's important to me.
I could see that. I could see that very. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
Um, Zoom out for me a little bit. Give me a rundown. Like, how many? So, like, how many locations do you have now? Like, what does the business look like in present day? And then I kind of want to jump back to how
Yeah,
you got
so as
there.
as crazy as this sounds, we do anywhere between 9 to 12 weddings a weekend. Um, Thursdays is the new Saturday. Um,
Really?
Remember when it comes time for holiday weekend, Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, we don't have days off. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I've worked through illnesses, I've worked through family deaths, we've worked through everything. I've worked through knee surgery. These people have waited a very long time to have us. We're at the point where brides are rearranging their wedding dates to accommodate our schedule, as crazy as
Wow.
that sounds.
Yeah.
Um, we are really, I'd say, we out east, we're Giorgio's, Land's End. We have so many great venues that we're partnered up with. And it didn't happen overnight. It was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Hey, what's up, guys? John from the Nest Egg team here. Thank you for watching so far. Really quickly, the real estate market is constantly changing. So if you're wondering what your home value is or how much equity you have in your home currently, click the link below in the description and you'll find out very quickly. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to the show.
Jonathan, when I go back to saying the Rumford Rangers, I lived on Rumford Road. I worked out of my parents' house. I used their phone number. I used their basement. I used their vehicles. And thankfully, I have amazing parents. And to this day, they're my biggest supporters that allowed me to grow my business. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. And then I'd say it was December of 2019, right before COVID. I was working so much. I was a police officer. I'd worked for the town. I was DJing every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and kids were coming into play. And my kids were 2 years old at the time. And I looked at my wife, I said, this hustle is awesome, but I need to make a change for myself because I need to be there for my children. And I looked at my wife, I'm like, you want to move? And she's like, excuse me? We picked up Mr. King Park, who was the mayor of Kings Park. I couldn't get a deli sandwich at Anderson's without saying hello with 400 people.
Yep.
I felt it was the right time and the right move where the business is running itself in New York. Why not branch off in Charleston, South Carolina? We chose an area where we can be close to the beach. But it's a destination wedding country down here. The Low Country is all weddings, and it's rated #2 for weddings right now. So
Really? Wow. So now was that part of the plan? Like, was that the choice of your destination, or was it just more the family and location kind of stuff?
we started looking in the South Carolina area.
Okay.
And we finally, at the last second, my wife got a phone call from a realtor from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And she goes, Mount Pleasant? She goes, you need to look there. And we were looking everywhere. So she was a teacher in New York, and she's like, I can't make the trip. You just go by yourself and tell me what you think. I got there and I was sold. I also became a police officer here. So I'm a police officer here in South Carolina. Love it. Wouldn't trade it for the world. But I'm at that point where, like, oh boy, the weddings are really taking off here, and I've got to pick and choose. It's either one or the other soon. So we'll
Right.
see what happens. Definitely.
That's it's a good problem to have. I mean, that's
Yeah.
first and foremost, like, is it
Yeah.
like if you have the ability to just focus on that business 100%, it's great. But you also get to be a police officer. I mean, it's dangerous line of work, but honorable and awesome in its own right.
It is. And you know what? I'm a different type of police officer. I'm very community oriented. I'm very outgoing. I'm the windows down, wave to everybody. I stop and talk to people. If someone's playing football in the front yard, I'm gonna pull over and play with them. That's just the type of person I am.
Yeah.
But it actually opened the avenue for my business too, because people like, oh, you're a DJ? Oh, wait a second. My daughter's getting married. And this past weekend, Mr. Pat Davis from Kings Park was just left this morning. We did a wedding here and we DJ'd in Isle of Palm, South Carolina. And we turned heads because people don't see the live musician aspect with us.
Mm-hmm.
Dog. You don't see. Stop it.
Hey, puppy.
Yeah, you gotta edit that part out. But yeah, people don't see that aspect, and we made a difference. So it's really working. And fun fact for you that you're in real estate, I moved right before COVID. So I got a house in South Carolina, a 5-bedroom, just under 3,000 square feet, 3 full bathrooms for an amazing price. I've tripled the value of my home. If I told you my mortgage payment a month, you would be like, there's no way.
Oh, I fully believe it. Yeah.
My taxes are $1,600 a year.
Oh my God. It's crazy.
I'm under $1,500 for my mortgage. It's crazy.
It's
Stupid.
So insane. It's so insane.
Yeah.
I mean, and you left before COVID. Like
it was, but it was also, Jonathan, it was a very scary time because we moved and then COVID happened, and all of a sudden weddings just stopped.
Right.
And that was a really big thing for Barattini Productions because everybody was reaping their sorrows and everyone's feeling bad for everybody. I took a different avenue, and this is where Zoom came to play. I started DJing on Friday nights on Zoom for brides that had to cancel their weddings, and it actually increased my business. And we were doing what's called Wind Down Wednesday. On a Wednesday night, we get all the brides on Zoom, and all of a sudden we DJ, and then we would just have like a chat about business, about their weddings, and just giving them hope. And the moment we were allowed to have our first wedding, oh my God, it was just like we reinvented ourselves. And
That's amazing.
it
That's
was
really
really,
cool.
really, really important. And I think that's where my business just skyrocketed. Everyone was like, I gotta have Barattini. We were different. We were different.
Well, I mean, you could the level of service that you're offering is like just doing that, like that just makes my head start to spin in positive ways and thinking because like you just went out there and said, I'm just gonna take care of the people that have entrusted me
Had
already.
to,
Like haven't gotten a dollar from them, like haven't done anything yet,
had to
but
do
like,
it.
yeah, give it to let me give them something. Let me give them something, give them hope, make them happy, treat them right. And then it probably increased your client base tenfold just from doing
Yeah.
that.
So I think it was April of, was it 2020? Yeah, April
Yeah.
2020. This poor bride had to cancel 3 times, and she's like, I'm done. We're having everybody over. We're doing a Zoom tonight. I said, I'm DJing tonight. She goes, excuse me? I'm gonna DJ your Zoom party. She's like, what? I set up everything in my garage. My wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you don't understand. They're supposed to get married tonight. What else? You can't go out. You gotta wear a mask. You
Yep.
just you could do it.
Yep.
It was really special. And to the fact, like, I really got into it because I'm watching everybody on the screen enjoying themselves. They were dancing on chairs. You did what you had to do. You
Yep.
had to. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, you know, there's certain people who just I feel like no, I shouldn't even say that, but it sounds bad. Um, you got to be able to pivot. You've got to be able
Yes.
to, but if you know, I feel like when COVID hit for real estate, I was still newer in the real estate game, but I really wasn't too concerned about how it was going to get done because I'm like, we could show houses with our phones. Like, there's so much tech to
Right.
make this work. But like, some people got stuck. And if you don't know your business well enough or know your clients well enough, yeah, I could see how you could get stuck and not figure out how to make things work for them. But you know your business. You know what you've been doing. You've been doing this 26
Yeah.
years. Like you figured out like I just need to give them some piece of hope and give them some DJ time right now and give them the time on Zoom to let them experience what they're wanting to experience and
Yeah.
dying to experience. And in the end, it's gonna pay off. But some people couldn't figure that out, and I feel like
No.
COVID just like it crushed them, it crushed businesses, and it's like you've gotta if you can't figure out a way out, probably shouldn't have been doing it. Like,
Yeah. It was definitely a tough time for everybody, but
Yeah,
my team really made it special for the brides, the grooms, and the parents who, I hate to say it, but like some weddings, people lost a parent, they lost a grandparent because
right.
this stuff was postponed so much. And I'd say 2021 and 22 were our busiest times for as a wedding company because there was so many extra weddings and it was overwhelming. Living in South Carolina, I pretty much lived in New York for 2021 for like almost like 2 weeks at a time, went home 2 weeks at a time. I had no choice. We were just backlogged with weddings. It was
Right.
it was wild. It really
That's
was.
crazy. But
It was
see,
a good
like
thing.
even like I'm thinking of like restaurants during that time period too. They went through so much, but a lot of them figured out how to make it work, and they figured out
Yeah.
with the deliveries and the alcohol, and like you just you have to figure out a way to take
Yeah.
care of your people because your people will come.
Yeah.
Like if they need you, they're gonna show up. They're gonna show up because they need you. And I don't know, like I've had so many conversations now on this. I think COVID has literally come up in every single one of these conversations that I've had with business owners now, like
Yep.
23rd one, because it forced like that's why all the people that I'm speaking to are so successful, yourself included.
You
And
got to put
you
your
know,
big boy pants on and listen. Stuff happens. Hurricanes happen.
yep.
World stuff. It's just you have to figure it out. And you know what? To be a good business person, it's all about your clients. You know, always say that the client's always right. Listen, yeah, they are. They're paying you top dollar, and you got to give them everything. Again, we worship the ground our clients walk on.
Hmm.
Moment either be Zoom or into my office. We're gonna roll a red carpet out for you, and it's gonna be white glove treatment. It's like, hey, do you want to go to the Oldsmobile? Do you want the BMW? And we're gonna give you that. And you know
Right.
what? Every dollar that's spent here is gonna be well spent. We're gonna give you every ounce of energy we have. Remember, not every day that you live is a good day. Maybe you had a bad day, but when it comes time for work, put your differences aside, put your best hat on, and give them everything you got. You have
Yep.
one shot and one shot only. And I wish other people had that attitude, and it works. And it's just, again, positivity. You're a positivity guy. The moment you walk in and someone's happy and positive,
Hey, what's up, guys? Sean again. Sorry to bother you and interrupt, but if you like what you're seeing, then please click that like and subscribe button. The great thing about keeping it local is you're meeting local businesses and local entrepreneurs who provide phenomenal service. So, this is almost like an initial job interview into someone that you might have in your own home to provide this job or service. So, again, if you like what you're seeing, click that like button, click that subscribe button. Other than that, let's get back to the program.
your energy's already through the roof. And if someone walks
Mhm.
in and they're like, ugh, you're like, what's with this person?
Yeah.
Get them out of that funk. So it's
Yep.
important. Really
And,
is.
you said it you said it just now, like, you're having a bad day. You can't go into Jack and
Nope.
Diane's wedding and, "Oh, yeah, my kids were a pain in the ass today, blah, blah,
Figure it
blah,"
out.
and be like, you
Figure it
gotta
out.
like yeah, like,
Yes.
it's let's go, like, that's none of that matters, like, you're there again, they're paying for a service, and like you said, they're paying top dollar. I
Oh yeah.
love the fact that you are just, like you are so hyper focused on giving them the best experience possible, and it's like, there's no compromise on cost. It's like, this
Here,
is what we
no.
charge,
This is
and if you want the best, this is what you're gonna get.
yeah. It's so important. And again, I've been doing this a long time, and I've really learned a lot as the years go on, and how important it is. And you're giving people special moments. And you know, I touched on this before, but like some brides lost a parent, some brides lost a mom or a father. How are you going to make them feel present when they're really not, and make it
Mm,
feel like they are? It's just we take special moments like that, and you got to seize the day. And just this, we were at October 11th. A girl, Juliana Menino, um, one of the best clients I've had in a long time. She's just so sweet. She lost her mom. We did her sweet 16 years ago, and now fast forward to her wedding. We just pep talked her, and I'll never forget. Her father was like, "I want to make a speech, but I'm not sure." And we had a nice pep talk with him. I said, "Listen, you got to speak from the heart. Don't feel like you can't talk." And he did. At the end of the day, it was like hugs and kisses. It's just that's what it's all about. It's just
yeah.
these special, special moments. I'm very reluctant to have this kind of opportunity to give somebody a gift like that and just be part of their journey. And there's nothing better than that. And which is why you see my social media, every bride and groom gets a reel, every recapped wedding is on there. So
Mhm.
everything you see everything we do is you're going to see out there. And social media this day is, yeah, it's a pain, but you know what? It showcases your work. It showcases the person that you are and the team that you provide them. So it's important.
That's when I see your social media, like, when I just seeing, like, the I wouldn't call it props. I mean, your setup, the
Yep.
setup, it's insane. Like, it's crazier than I've ever seen. I'm like, this is like the biggest, baddest DJ, like, setup that I've ever seen. And I mean bad, like, cool bad.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, I get you.
it's insane. Like, your setup is wild. Like, I don't see any other setups like that anywhere.
You just have to my goal was just to stand out from all the rest. What's going to be new? What's going to be unique? What's going to make you different than other people? I'm sure there's wonderful, phenomenal DJs out there, but my motto was I'm not looking for the best. I'm looking for the right. I have a hand-picked staff. Most of my staff has been with me for the past 20 years, and that's a long time. I hope and pray that they obviously are here for a reason because the way they're treated here. I'm just different. I try to handpick everybody for one specific reason. And you know, people are choosing you for the biggest day of their life, and this is it. So one thing with my business is I don't know if you've ever heard of a DJ company having meetings. We have a meeting every other single week. All the DJs get together. Then one meeting, it's all the MCs. Then the sales team gets together. My sales team is phenomenal, and we have what's called our account manager. So if you contact one of my sales reps, they're going to be with you through your whole entire process. The booking, then we're going to check in with you, then we're going to make your final appointment, and they're always going to remain with you. We don't have hours. We are a pretty much 24-hour operation. As a police officer, I work weird hours, and I've got inquiries at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They're getting a response within 2 minutes of like, this must be automated. I'm like, no, it's not. It's just me
Now
being
I'm up.
humble. Yeah, yeah. If we don't respond to an email within 90 seconds, that's late for us. But and that's what separates us from other people is
Yeah.
is the constant communication and contact that we have, and a personal touch with them. They get our cell phones. Um, they give us questions at any time of the night, and we're always going to answer them for them. It's
Well,
important.
because there are so many questions with it. Like I remember
Yeah.
going through it and being like, wait, what do we have to do for this? What, like, and again, like you said, it's the same thing with real estate. It's just like, especially for first time home buyers or someone who's, it's like
Yeah.
right now, first time home buyers or the seller that hasn't done a transaction in 30 years,
Yep.
it's their first time home sellers or home buyers too. So like the what what we take is like we're used to it, being able to re-teach that every single day is like some people might find it annoying. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy answering the questions. I mean, I became a teacher. Like obviously I like to act like I know
Of
shit.
course.
So I don't mind being in that position, but there's also, I mean, I've done things to streamline as well because with real estate, it's a lot of the same questions. Whereas like I feel like
Yep.
with your business, everything like every single wedding is so unique. Um,
Everything is, yeah,
it's
definitely.
like everything's gotta be tailored to the person, but for me, it's like, okay, I will be asked about, an earnest money deposit by every single buyer that comes through, and it's like, okay, now I make a video for it, I have
Yep.
an email, like, boom, boom, it goes out automatically, explains everything, but it's funny you talk about communication because I was like, I tell all my new clients whenever I take someone on, and like I always have a discovery call with them. Like there's
Yep.
an initial meeting, 45 minutes of just like, what do
Yep.
you want? And the question that I ask at the end that always blows them away, especially people that have dealt with other agents before. There's two things that I do that they're like, oh, like the first thing I do is like I send them closed properties. I never send them
Mhm.
currently listed because I'm like, you need to see what your money's actually going to get you.
Good for
Like
you.
it's just I heard it on a podcast honestly like 4 years ago. Some investor was talking about that, and I'm like, yeah, that's smart. Like, why would I show you what it's listed at? It's gonna go over. Like, I'm gonna show you what closed at your price range. So that's my number one. And my number two, when I'm doing my intake with them, I always ask them at the end, I'm like, what do you need from me? And they're like, oh, like,
I like
I'm like,
that.
yeah, I want to know like what are like the most important things you need from me as a real estate agent? Because if I don't know that, there's no other point to this
Yeah.
conversation. And just that moment of them thinking about it, and then they're like, okay. And people mostly say the same thing: communication, honesty, and like, getting after it, trying to find me something, like really
Yeah.
going after a deal. And it's those little things are so important to keeping the client happy. But then I have to tell them my communication wise, I'm like, listen, I do go to sleep at like 9 o'clock because I get up at like 4:30. So if I don't answer you, it's because I passed out, but I
Right.
might text you really early. So be ready for that.
Yeah. No, but
But they
it's
appreciate it.
communication is key in everything. And looking back to when we grew up playing on the Rumford Rangers, we didn't have cell phones, man. I think I had a beeper
Yeah.
at one point. Social media is everything, and you want to just stand out from all the rest. And but I have to tell you, I got to give you props on here because I love your social media. I love where you're
Thank
going
you.
with things, which is why I wanted to be on here. It's just important to me. And so I got to ask you a question. So what makes you why should somebody choose you for real estate? What makes you
That's a
different
fair
than everybody
question.
else? What makes you different?
Well, first of all, you know what my father-in-law always tells me when I ask him for referrals. He says, "Well, John, there's like 2,000 real estate agents around here.
Yep.
Everybody knows an agent." And yeah, I get it. The thing that I think we do differently is I love the process that's involved because I'm a planner. Um, and my whole thing is like I am going to prevent fires. I'm not going to put out fires. I'm going to prevent fires from happening. So we are like, I am a really diligent planner and I am like brass tacks pragmatic. I'm getting better at helping people with the emotional side of it, but I try and just go about it with the transaction is like, listen, when we're dealing with the sellers, you're going to be very emotional about things because this is a big deal and you're spending a lot of money, but try and keep in mind that this is a business transaction and let's just focus on the numbers and the bottom line. Let's not focus on like whether they're being greedy or not, because
Yep.
those things can flood in. So for me, it's my like if you like someone, like I am not for everybody. I've been rejected and I totally
Hey,
get it. If you are pragmatic, if you are business minded, and if you want someone who's going to just tell you the God's honest truth about what's happening, what it's going to cost you, can we realistically get this house? Then we are definitely a good choice.
I like
And
that.
I mean, it's just look, there's 10,000 real estate agents on Long Island. the fortunate thing about me is like I work strictly by referral. So everyone that I work with is I either someone they know has worked with me directly or they know me directly. But usually it's like we've worked with John, he's great, gets
Yep.
it done. And it just you know, we do a really, really good job of making sure that the client is always in the know, that they are always first, that we take care of every single need, and then we treat them phenomenally throughout the transaction and after the transaction. Like my whole business is like I love throwing parties. I like and not like your parties, but like
I was about to say, I was about to, you need me? I'm here, bro. I got you.
I'll give you a call when I'm at that level. But like, you know, I love throwing little events. Like I'll have like a pre-Thanksgiving, like a Thanksgiving Eve party, and just have people come over. And then like my best people, I get pies for them, and then I'll give them to them. Then I'm gonna do like a photo op next year, like fall photos for families and just like stuff like that. Like I don't like to spend money on advertising at all. I love to spend it on my
I
clients. Like
love what you said because you and I are so much alike because I'm all referrals. I do not advertise. The only marketing
I
tool
never see any advertising from you ever,
I
ever.
don't, and you know what? We are booked solid through 2026. Like I said, 9 to 12 weddings a weekend. It's
Get
wild.
out of here.
And now the South Carolina is taking off because now that we've showed them what New York can bring to South Carolina, we're turning heads because they've never seen that before. But my marketing is my Instagram and my Facebook.
Yep.
If you get married, you can expect your photos to be already live on our Facebook literally that night by 3 a.m. or worst case scenario, 8 a.m. the next day, and you can relive those special moments. But I love what you said because you know what? It's referrals. It's how you're treated and what you're going to do for the client and honesty and just communicate. And that is such, it goes such a long way. Simple text message that's answered promptly or an email answered promptly. People are blown away by that and they just
Yeah.
know they can count on you. And I always tell people at the end of my sales calls, I just want you to put your head on the pillow at the end of the night and just know that you are going to be safe and secure and know that your wedding, you will not have to stress about anything.
Yep.
And it's
You
important.
taking that stress off their shoulders
Yeah.
is why someone will pay you whatever they decide to pay you, or you tell them they have to pay you because you are not going to give them that stress.
We
And
will
that's
give you everything we have
yeah, to
and more.
prevent that, I'm sure. Like because it's like the greatest day, but also the most stressful day. Like
Correct.
it is a nightmare in
You,
a
you,
lot of ways for the person.
You've seen my reels, you've seen my Instagram, my face. People go crowd surfing at weddings, okay? They are having the blast. They're smiling, laughing. They're a disheveled mess after it's done. But have you ever seen a photo of a cake cutting or a parent dance with with no tie on or the jacket not on? We are redressing these people and making them look absolutely prestige for those special moments. And that's what's going to separate us from other people is giving them the extra attention to detail that they need and desire. I
Mm,
can't stand when you go to a wedding and you see a best man having a Bud Light in his hand while using his cell phone doing a speech. We won't allow that. We will give you a nice microphone stand. We'll make sure the champagne glass is in hand. We'll assist them with all that stuff. It's creating special moments for a special time. And that's what it's all about, man.
did you I love that, first of all, like, I love that because did you, like, sit down and map this out one day and just like, "Okay, every single moment, like, and we're gonna have a standard," or, like, did this evolve over
Yeah.
time and then you made it, like, standard operating
Yeah.
procedure? Like,
So
how did that work?
great question. So 2004, 2005 is when JC, James Clemente, came into the picture, and he is probably the most well-polished Ryan Seacrest postured MC you're gonna meet. And he's so business oriented, and he drilled stuff into my head, which is why at our weddings you will never see a DJ drinking any alcohol. We have nothing but water, power bars. We don't eat dinner at weddings. I feel it's you we're providing a service for 4 or 5 hours. We're going to give you everything we got. There's no reason for me to go take a break. We just don't do that. So don't feed us. We're here to work for you. It's all about providing that level of service. And he was like, "Hey, we can do this, we can do that." And the two of us, like, it's like ESP with when he says something, I'm already thinking it. He's like, "Yo, maybe do this," and it's already ready for him. And that's what we just molded into our staff to do. And we have those brand standards. And it's like I told you, it's not about having the best, it's having the right people.
Mhm.
We will make them the best. And we're trying to homegrown new DJs and MCs that only work for us. I don't want an MC that's worked for 4 different companies because he's not going to be Barattini material. He needs to learn from us and the reason why we do these things, because again, this is going to create something that's remembered and not forgotten. And we want to make sure it's executed to the best of our ability and some. But yeah, so it's just the two of us created that. And then we started doing sales meetings. Then we started doing DJ meetings. And, we have like little music symposiums, what's going to work, when it's going to work. And we improvise. The maid of honor is about to do a speech. I've already got songs ready for her. I've already got songs ready for the best man. There's no dead air. I used to work for BLI Radio. You would get fined if there was dead air. So it's like, I have to make sure there's always something going on at all times. So it's important.
I mean, it's just like hearing you talk about it, like I get it. Like just listening to what, like I can imagine, just also knowing you and knowing the way you are, like I can imagine you perfecting this situation. And not, I could see you, like I'm envisioning you right now, like being like, get the frigging glass, get the Bud Light out of his hand, like get the, like, and just
I would.
making it happen.
It won't even happen because we'll be one step ahead. I have severe OCD in a really good way between it, my spreadsheets when I was mowing my lawn with stripes. Like it's just how I am. That's why my paperwork it actually is a good scary because at the final appointment the bride is like, you didn't miss anything. I'm like, no. Like we ask you so many questions. We ask what your favorite drink is. Okay, so I know the hall is supposed to get their drinks. The only time you'll ever see any of my staff members with any ounce of alcohol in our hand, it's to bring it to the bride and groom because we saw them empty-handed. If a glass breaks on the dance floor, it's not my guy's responsibility, but they're out there standing where that pile is, and we're already doing. It's the level of professionalism that we're delivering, and that's why most videographers and photographers love working with us because we're staging special moments already for them without them even doing anything. Like, oh my God, like the best man's already posed with the bride and groom. Like one
Yeah, they
step
just
ahead.
got to make sure the camera's rolling, baby. Like,
We got you. Just, but again, it didn't come over time. It came over the years of experience, and I just want to be the only one that does what we do. And I want people. My reviews say they're people write books about us, and that to me is the best gift anybody can ever give me in return. Is just tell us your experience and why. And that's where you come in. I asked you, listen, why did people choose you? Those reviews that you get, doesn't that feel good? It's like it makes
you
everything worthwhile.
you hit the nail on the head. Like we had a sale in Smithtown, which is, it was an out of state referral from like a Connecticut realtor who was
Yep.
referring someone to sell their house here. And so now this is like a totally cold lead. This is not anyone that we know, never met them before. Um, the transaction, like it took us a little bit to get into contract. We had a good offer, then we had to go with another offer, which was still good. And they were very happy, even though we didn't get the exact number they wanted. They were super happy. And then by the end of it, there were so many things that came up. Um, and just like doing my job, like I want to make sure that they're taken care of. So like handled everything. And when we were saying goodbye and like we sent them a gift or whatever, um, he was like, he just said, he's like, you did an amazing job. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. We were texting. I'm like, it was my pleasure, wonderful. And he's like, you earned it. And I was like, that's like the best compliment you could ever give me, is just saying I earned it. Like,
There's nothing better than that. And I live for a really awesome review. I don't want someone like great job. No, but I'm getting brides that are like, you changed my life. Like my
mhm.
best man. This guy didn't want to speak in a microphone, but what you said to him right before he just put him at ease. And I go back to Juliana's wedding where the father had so much emotion because his wife wasn't there and his daughter's mother wasn't present. We gave him like a comfort and it's just a speech we gave him and just assured him it's going to be okay. And he wrote me a book the next day, and I was like, wow. I was like, holy cow, that hit home. And that's why I'm like reborn here in Charleston, South Carolina. Like
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying doing weddings. It's different because you're taking a bridal planner that's so used to like the Southern way, and you're taking the venue that's like, oh my God, these people are dancing before dinner. I'm like, yes, we do. We had a bride last night crowd surfing. They were like, you should see, all the phones were out, everyone's videotaping because they've never seen this before in a different state. So it's kind of cool.
You were making me think of that before, because like the standard of wedding, obviously, that we have here on Long Island is so far and above pretty much. I mean, you know more than me, but I feel like
It's
I don't know if
cookie cutter.
anywhere does it like we do.
It's cookie cutter, and I my thing is we are not your typical cookie cutter DJ. You said it to you said it before. You said, you know, not everybody's for me. And guess what? Not everybody's for us. We're not for everybody.
Right.
There are going to be a bride and groom that come in the office and are like, you know what? I don't know if we'd be able to please them because we are too high energy and professional though, and we're not the MCs that are going to rah rah shit. We're not a mitzvah DJ.
Right.
But there may be times that we're not for somebody and they may not be for us. So
Right.
you know, we do a really good job of making sure that we are the right fit for somebody. And I've told people straight up, like, I don't know if we'd be the right fit for you.
Yeah.
And people respect that more
Yeah.
because I'm honest. We're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna lie. Not gonna
Yep.
lie to you. So that's important.
I have a buddy who he referred me to someone, and you know, he's like he already has a realtor from the firehouse and everything, and he was my other buddy's talking to him, and he's like, oh, he's like, what'd you think of John? He's like, really, really friggin' like him. You know, he's just honest. Like, he just like, I feel like I'm not being bullshitted. And I love that. He's like, I don't want to use the other guy, but I got to make sure he's not going to be mad at me because I work with him, you know? And I'm
I
like,
get it.
tell him it's cool. Like, I told him it's cool. I'm like, dude, I totally get it. My fault. Everyone knows a realtor. This is who I am. I am not going to bullshit you. I'm going to be
Yep.
totally honest. I'm going to tell you what I think we could do. If you want to work with me, I will take care of you. If not, I'm not going to be mad at you. Don't worry about it.
It's New York, man. Everybody's got a guy. You got a guy. I
Yep.
got a guy. $2. It's just a New
Yeah.
York thing. It's a New York thing. I get it. And
I want to work with people that like you actually did their wedding 2 weeks ago. My parents were there. I don't think you were there. I don't want to say their name. Um they're the ones who live next door to my parents.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. I was taking him to see houses over the weekend, and he goes, "John, I just want to ask you, like, when do you sleep?" And he's like, you do this, you do that. I'm like, I get a decent amount of sleep, but it's number one, technology is so helpful, like, which is great. Like, technology enables, because from this I'm going to get, 30
Yes.
clips that I could just schedule, like, which is wonderful. But I don't really like to sleep that much either. Like,
I don't.
I like
I
working with
don't.
people.
Everybody asks the same thing to me. It's like, yo, when do you? I don't. I'm full of energy. I don't know any other way. I've been like that since a kid.
Mhm.
Like I said, I always try to outdo. I don't know. I just feel like in life, you've got that opportunity. Just why half-ass something? Just don't. My kid wants to start playing hockey, and I could go buy a hockey net. I'm like, no, let me buy two hockey nets so we can have both sides. You got to like improvise, and
Yeah.
it's just that's the way I've always been. And creating moments that are going to be remembered and not forgotten, and take that with your business too, because you're giving somebody one of the best days of their life. I'll never forget buying my first home with my wife. It is exciting. It's like, oh my God, wait, this is ours. Holy cow, we got to buy forks and knives. We got to buy Tupperware.
Yeah. You
It
just
all comes
watch
with
the
it.
money evaporate, like.
Yeah. Oh my God, we need a new fence. Oh my
Yep.
God, you need a new gutter. It is. God bless you for doing what you do, and it kind of intertwines with what we do here, because
Yeah,
guess what? Someone's gonna get married, and then what do they do with all the money? They buy a home. So it
exactly.
works, and then they have a kid. So I
Yep.
always tell somebody this is one of the most important days of your life, other than buying a home and having children, and that's where we all come in. So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I think I'm going to give advice on behalf of you from what I've gleaned from this conversation. And to me, it's like success has come because you are over the top, but you're over the top about caring for your clients. And
Yeah.
that's just monstrous. Like
There
that's
is
I think the
no,
recipe
and
for your
that I
success.
never lie to you. Like, there is nothing I wouldn't do for one of my bride and grooms.
Yeah.
The moment that door opens, I get emotional. I know it sounds corny, but after 26 years, I still get emotional. And I go back to this wedding. I was in New York on October 11th, and I just you feel the energy of somebody that has passed. You feel the energy in the room and the emotions that people are going through. And I introduced somebody for the first time as husband and wife, and you're seeing the parents, you're seeing the mother of the bride. I have a clip I can show you from last night. The two mothers were dancing to a slow song, and they were so emotional. I had to start videotaping them. I had to send them a clip. I kid you not. I was like, wow, this is what it's all about. Look what we created tonight.
Yeah.
Before every wedding, before every sporting event, you see all the football players, they kneel and they have a prayer. We do something similar. We have a big team meeting. We're on the dance floor. We have a big, gigantic circle, and we go over all the details that we did in the final appointment. We invite the video, the photo team. We reiterate what they are looking for the evening. And this is what we're going to be delivered. And then all of a sudden, the bride and groom come in the room for their room shot right before everybody. They get to check the room out. They get to see their centerpieces. My entire staff is clapping for them. And then I go around, we give them a hug and kiss, and then we give them that pep talk. Do this before closing. Give them a pep talk. But listen, it's been a long haul. We've had to get this inspection. We've had to do this. I just want to take a moment and thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey, because I want to be remembered. And you know what? When you give them their gift after closing, they're not going to forget that.
Yeah.
My realtor back in the day gave me it's a pillow, and it's got Long Island and Charleston, and it's just so cool. It's just
Yeah.
I don't forget those things.
Yeah.
And that to me is just, what can you do to somebody that you could be a memory for them forever? And that's my goal.
Yeah.
So it's
And
exciting.
and you're doing it every weekend, three
Yeah.
times a night, which is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I told you, it's anywhere between 9 to 12 a weekend, and those Thursdays became a new Saturday. So you're getting 3 on a Saturday, you're getting 3 on a Friday. It's like, it's
Sucks.
bananas. It's
Hey,
bananas.
good business is good business, though. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Wouldn't trade it for the world. I got mom and dad to thank, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. And just good parenting, and whatever you can do to give to your children, just keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
All right. Well, listen, it's been awesome talking to you.
Absolutely.
We'll have to do this again. I feel like there's more that we need to cover, but
Yeah.
thank you for coming on. Thank you for the great advice and the kind words. You're probably too big for this show, but
No,
appreciate it.
no, first of all, no, absolutely not. I am the same person I was in 1998. I'm the
Oh,
same
without a
person
doubt.
in
Absolutely.
tomorrow. And whatever I can give, I give. And that's probably one of the reasons why I'm a police officer to this day, is I love giving back, and it's so important. But Jonathan, you're doing great things, and I love your social media. Don't stop, continue. I
I
always
will
tell
not.
people, just keep shooting for the stars, because you're going to be really successful. And I hope this gives you light, and I've learned a lot from you today. I really have, and it's important.
I think I've learned more from you than you have from me, but I'll take the compliment very nicely, as I appreciate it. But
And
no, like you've done such huge, like you've grown this monster, like you do things huge. You were the DJ for the Islanders, like you've done all this crazy cool stuff. And it's just like, I just love, again, especially seeing people from Kings Park that I've known for years, and they've just created these amazing businesses and success stories out of their passions, which I just think is friggin' awesome. It's so cool to me. And I just can't believe I know so many people that have been so
yeah,
successful and done these amazing things. I love it.
I get chills thinking about it. And again, fun fact, I'm a Ranger fan. I worked for the Islanders. I don't hate them. I don't hate them. I got my jersey hanging up, but it was, I've checked off a lot of boxes in my life. I've got a lot of life experience. Um, I couldn't be more thankful to what I've been given, and what I was able to provide for people, and whatever I can do, I'm going to continue. I just want to continue being successful, and I wish everybody the most success. And if you need a good realtor, my man right here, Jonathan, will take good care of you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course, my man. I appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for coming on, and
Anytime, bud.
yeah, thank you.